Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank the organizer of the webinar on the behalf of Black Alliance for Peace for inviting us and allowing us to make a presentation on this issue. This is the fourth time as a whole that the Black Alliance for Peace has gone to Nicaragua since the first time that as Black Alliance for Peace being a year ago at the 42nd anniversary. And I just want to take a moment to read a brief mission statement of the Black Alliance for Peace for those who may not know or may, it'd be good to get a refresher. And the Black Alliance for Peace seeks to recapture and redevelop the historic anti-war, anti-imperialist, and pro-peace positions of the radical Black movement through educational activities, organizing, and movement support. Organizations and individuals in the alliance will work to oppose both militarized domestic state repression and the policies of destabilization, subversion, and the permanent war agenda of the U.S. state globally. And so I just want to say that on this delegation, to start off our presentation, how it fits in with things, we again went to the Caribbean coast, the autonomous regions of Nicaragua, and particularly Bluefields. So we only were able to go to Bluefields this time, but this is the fourth time we've gone there. Many people may not know or understand the significance of the indigenous and Black populations of Nicaragua as being central to the Sandinista Revolution in many ways, all the way to the struggle, the armed struggle against the Somoza regime, and throughout the Contra war, U.S. Initiated war with the Contras, and then also bringing into reality what was created with the autonomous regions in the Caribbean coast. This is a region that established itself a multi-ethnic and multicultural community, independent or just on itself, devising it even before the Sandinista and even before the Somoza dynasty, but has continued it and has worked with the Sandinista Revolution to make autonomy a reality, to help define what it means. And I think that's the most significant part of what the lessons of the Nicaragua Revolution are. We're talking about an indigenous and African population on the Caribbean coast, of the Atlantic coast of Nicaragua, that actually almost spans half of the country, that have a real constitutionally enshrined, structurally recognized autonomy, and recognized is the more important word than given. They weren't given; that the Constitution recognized their autonomy. One of the significant things about this trip is that, and it was, I call it significant, not only because I was able to be there and witness it, but also because our comrades on the Caribbean coast called it significant. And it was the visit by and the address of the 43rd anniversary to everybody by Ralph Gonsalves, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Everybody in Bluefields who we spoke with talked about the significance of that visit. Not only did he participate in the anniversary and the ceremonies, and also address the ceremonies with the president, and was given an award, he also visited the Caribbean coast, and the significance of St. Vincent for them also is that the Garifuna people, which is one of the ethnic groups, ethnic peoples in the autonomous region, African descendant people, they originate in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So everywhere we went, this was significant. It shows the Pan-African ethos that emanates from the autonomous regions and the African descendants there. Something that should be built and fostered within the Latin American region. The indigenous and Black Nicaraguan autonomy teaches what real and genuine diversity and multiculturalism means. They have a saying, unity in diversity, and it's described to us how they had to, through a people-centered process, through their struggle of having to debate and struggle with their fellow Nicaraguans to understand and define what autonomy means, and what that means because some people thought and the initiated in initial stages of the revolution were worrying it that was something divisive and meant something separate, meant secessionist movements and things like that. And they had to talk about and struggle over what it meant. And now it means something very, very, oh, darn, I'm already.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Okay,
no,
well, I'm going
to more. Yeah,
I got 1 more minute. Sorry about that. So in the U.S., if the U.S. Reduces it to tokenism and preserving the settler colonial regime, autonomy is the revolution, is what they say. So getting the proper lessons from the Nicaraguan revolution is also their ruling from below, their dual power strategy that they had to adopt when they were when the Sandinistas were out of power from 1990 to 2000, where they were actually not in power, but they were still gaining and working with the people. And that's this process that we have to adopt here, that we have to look at here. The left, what the real movement is, revolution. It must be not a siloed thing, but it has to be something that integrates everything that we need to do. We need to have the best thing we can do for Nicaragua and other oppressed people is to look at the movement in a holistic way. It must be in the U.S. where U.S. people are waiting for the U.S. to get ourselves together. It can't just be something where we defer to the rulers, but we have to actually be in a position to mean what it means to depose the rulers. A real left movement can't be siloed if it means anything. It must be protracted, multifaceted, and most importantly, it has to be revolutionary. Thank you. It was just amazing how anyone could think. In fact, they were even telling us that the election wasn't legitimate, that those people would vote for anything else besides the Sandinista Revolution that they are an integral part of. It's the People's Revolution that has been the center for the coast having electricity, having certain, having roads and irrigation that connect not only the different autonomous regions with each other, Kukra Hill to Bluefields to Pearl Lagoon and things like that are not complete, but they're in the process and remarkable advancements in very little time that also connect the Caribbean coast to the Pacific and the Atlantic coast. The fact that they have universities now, several universities, and that these universities are multicultural and multi-ethnic teaching, and they respect their autonomy. So and they're free. They're completely free. And so lighting and things like that, irrigation, just the construction of projects to construct housing, better housing. I mean, just they run the gamut. Healthcare. All the same, that actually not only just the things that affect the Pacific coast and Managua and these advances that are universal should be human rights, but other things that are particular to the needs of the people in the autonomous region. And for them, it's not something that's given to them. Not for them, it's not given to them. They are the ones in the process of creating these things, these projects. There's so many things. Even they now. And they have a project in starting to put another international airport in Bluefields. And now the Bluefields airport will go from the Pacific to the different places within the country. This is going to be an international airport where you can fly right into Bluefields from another country. So these are the kind of things that are happening, and that make it ridiculous for us to think that the people of that region are not, for them, they're not voting for somebody else that's going to do something for them. They're voting for themselves, and that it would be ludicrous to think that they would do anything else.